Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm coming to you today from the Sabrina Boat, and it's the 50th birthday of the boat itself. And as you can hear in the background, a nice rumble of conversation, some nice piano music. There's some Shrewsbury gin being passed around and some beers. Some of Shrewsbury's most notable characters on the boat today. So we could try and get some interviews. I want to talk about sort of what places like this mean to people. I mean, of course, we know what the Sabrina means to people. It's been around for 50 years. That's what we're celebrating today. But like when it comes to landmarks and places we visit, sometimes they attach themselves to us emotionally. It's always quite a charged thing when you see places like this for the first time. I want to know what place you'd revisit for the first time again. You know, we're going to talk a bit about that today. Also, I'll speak to Dilwyn as well, who is a great friend of the show. There's lots of past guests that have been on the show before walking around. We'll get them on the mic too. So we'll find some people to speak to, and we'll see what we can get from this. But congratulations to the Sabrina Boat for your 50th birthday. It's Shrewsbury's only moving landmark that everybody recognises, and has been a great service to this town up and down the river. So yeah, let's celebrate with the great people of Shrewsbury. Let's do this.
Thank you for sharing this with us. Sabrina is 50. Yay. Roughly my age. Ish. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll get going in a few moments. Which way are we going first? We're going upstream first. So if you are local, I'm not sure if you're on our day trips, we tend to stick down this side, which is downstream. So we're going upstream initially, which is the showground direction. So we'll go for an hour or so that way, and then we'll come back and we'll do the other way. So enjoy yourself to start with, and then don't enjoy yourself because I'm going to say a few things. Okay, so I'm just going to say a little bit about history and how we sort of come forward over the last 15 years and some history before that. We do have a lady called Lady Christine on the boat tonight. And before Sabrina, well, we'll stop there, and I'll tell you all about that afterwards, okay?
So I found a great table with some of our great friends. We've got Bill and Maggie and Stan and new people as well I need to meet. So we are here for the 50th birthday of the Sabrina Boat, a very important landmark for Shrewsbury. I'll start with you, Maggie. What are your thoughts on this today as an event?
I think it's an amazing thing to be able to celebrate a community together on a boat with a boat celebrating 50 years. And Shrewsbury's incredibly lucky to have Sabrina on her river loop. And lots of residents and people, visitors from all over the world come to enjoy this boat.
Yeah, it's such an amazing thing to have a monument like this that can stand the test of time the way it has. I mean, like Shrewsbury is that in itself.
Well, for a long time we weren't really using our river and we weren't really celebrating our river, and Sabrina has really brought that to life and enabled everybody else who wants to use the river in their personal ways to actually share the river space too, because Dilwyn's really open to all of that and very mindful of it.
He's been very supportive with the Biscuit and with other businesses as well that work around the town.
He's a terrific individual, and I'm really pleased we've got him working a tourism business in the town. Besides, he's now taken on the town guides as well.
Absolutely, there is that as well, and this is something that we were supposed to cover with the Biscuit, but we never did. How's that going?
It's going really well. Last year was the first trial because it was very much last minute. We set it up in just over a month it took. Shropshire Council having dropped the town daily tours. It was the perfect opportunity to pick it up with Sabrina Tours. And this year we've been able to put the advanced publicity out, and we've been running since the beginning of this month in April. And most days we've had people booked on tours, which is absolutely fantastic. The guides are really pleased to keep the daily tours alive, and we're thrilled because we think that's the best way to see Shrewsbury, both a walking tour around the town and a ride on the boat round on the loop of the river. How perfect is that?
Amazing. And speaking of tours, we've got the amazing Stan Sedman, who I haven't seen for a long time. One of our greatest tour guides of Shrewsbury on the river. A great sight to see, right? Shrewsbury from the river.
I love Shrewsbury from the River. I had my 80th birthday party on this boat, doing exactly what we're doing now. It is a great asset to the town, and it brings many, many people in here. People, touring companies, bus companies that bring tours out, they're looking for a town with a little bit of difference. And we've got the beautiful Tudor aspect and the history of the town and the links with things like Christmas Carol. But this is a big seller, and what he's done for Shrewsbury is unbelievable. And he should be recognised for some way, because he's put his money where his mouth is, you want to say, and he really does skate by the skin of your teeth sometimes. And the amount of effort he's put into Shrewsbury and the advertising he does to get people to come here and put money into the town is absolutely incredible.
I think the legacy that you and Dylan and people like Maggie and all the tour guides around town are offering is really, really important, because we need to keep that history alive, because it is our culture, and if it's forgotten, then people care about it less, right?
But in addition, he's a very nice man.
He is.
And that mustn't be forgotten. He's not a grabbing man or anything like that. He's a genuine man who believes in what he's doing.
Absolutely right. Does anybody like to add anything on to that? Would you like to introduce yourself on the show?
You're going to interview the dog, Ollie's dog, isn't it? I think you should interview. There is a dog on board, I think.
Oh, right.
Should interview. I don't know whether
dogs are always welcome on the biscuit. An interview with a dog would always be welcome. Bill, I mean, you're a great member of the community. I've seen you at the Bellevue Arts Festival, playing music and being out in the sun, and I mean, this must mean a lot to you, right?
Oh yes, it's. Whilst you were just talking there, I thought that's a really nice association with the fact that Shrewsbury wealth grew because of the river, and when the town was first founded, it was already linked to the continent before the Norman conquest.
Wow!
So that's a nice little link. But as far as the town and the river and the history goes, Ian knows a lot about it, because he's looked after the castle for many years.
So, speak to Ian. You're up, Ian. I'm told that you are, when it comes to history, you're one of the people to speak to in the town, right?
So I work at Shrewsbury Castle, and I feel very privileged to be invited for the 50th birthday of the Sabrina. Thinking of history and Shrewsbury's built on the lifeline and the lifeblood of the River Severn, and it was fading down into something that was in the past, but the Sabrina has come along and taken the river and put the lifeline back into Shrewsbury again, using the river as part of tourism of the town, promoting the town, showing the town from a different angle, from the trade angle, from the history angle, and it's wonderful to see.
I love that we're heading up towards the showground now, because that's very close to, Darwin's house, and what that is, and what that signifies when it comes to our knowledge of.
Can't wait for those Darwin tours to begin.
They're going to be amazing, right? Was that a good segue into what you guys are going to be offering soon?
We'll see about.
You can see it from here.
Yeah, there it is. There's the house.
Yes, the mount. Amazing. Well, listen, I'm glad that you guys are enjoying this today. I'm glad that you guys are here, actually, because you know how nervous I get at things like this. When I seen you go, Maggie and Stan, I was like, familiarity, my best friend. I hope you guys enjoy your tour.
Have a great evening.
Don't drink too much and behave yourself, please, okay?
Oh, no.
Have a great evening, guys.
Don't do behaviour.
I've got a great grandson who's not one yet, and he came to Shrewsbury, and the one thing that his grandmother, my daughter, wanted him to do was to go on the boat, and she brought him on the boat. And there's a lady on here called Victoria, one of the girls on here, and she was absolutely fantastic, and she entertained him and kept him happy with just smiling and walking past him the whole of the journey. And to me, that's special, that my daughter wanted him to come on the boat.
Yeah, the staff here are fabulous.
They really are.
The staff that work with Dylan are amazing, and you can tell they're like a little family, and we always have fun.
I'm like, for Sophie to come on as part of the crew here as well. I mean, me and Sophie worked together at the prison. and she would always kick our butts when we weren't doing our jobs properly. And now she's here doing such amazing things with Sabrina. I couldn't be happier. So hats off to the crew. Really great. So I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Jan Holdley from Shrewsbury Marine Services.
Very involved with the river, obviously, naturally. What does the Sabrina Boat mean to you guys as an association?
I think it's a great concept. I think it's probably the only way you can get on the river now, unless you have a canoe or a rowing boat. It's the only trip where we've got, and it's really a success story. It's introduced a lot of people to see Shrewsbury from a different perspective.
Do you think that over the years Shrewsbury's relationship with the river has changed, and you think that Sabrina maybe keeps that alive maybe a little bit?
Yes, boating has definitely declined on the river, mainly because they don't have a policy of dredging it. Less boaters can use it. But no, the Sabrina is fantastic, and visitors love it, absolutely, and the locals.
And it's been around for a while. I mean, do you think Shrewsbury would be completely different without something like the Sabrina about?
It would be a loss, so yes, it definitely is an enhancement to Shrewsbury.
Amazing. What I'm talking about today, I'm gonna go back to this table because I forgot. I'm talking about landmarks and places you visited that, because this is a moving landmark, where you can revisit for the first time again. Is there anywhere that you visited in the world that you'd love to revisit again for the first time, even if it's local?
Crikey, well, I like to travel a lot. I'd like to go back to Istanbul.
Oh, Istanbul!
Yes, it was lovely, Istanbul.
We have emotional attachments to landmarks and places that we visit. And the Sabrina, for me, when I first moved to Shrewsbury in 2018, standing on Greyfriars Bridge on a sunny day and seeing that go under, that for me was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here moment. So that's why I asked that question. Well, thank you so much for chatting today.
Okay, thank
I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you.
A lovely chat. It's been nice.
I'll hit record. Are you recording as well?
Yes.
Oh, look at this, the Biscuit and the BBC recording together. I love this.
What questions am I answering? I don't know.
What I was going to say is this place. I mean, I've seen you working at the prison. You were so passionate about that. Sometimes too passionate.
Yeah.
And then you come here to the Sabrina, where things seem to have transformed for you. I mean, you're so happy here. I've seen that in you.
Yeah, so I left the prison and then went to the farm shop on Bridgenorth Road, and I wanted to focus a lot more on marketing and step away from the events. I enjoyed the events, but you well know how stressed I got. The quote of Sophie on the events was, "I'm really sorry, I appreciate you, I'm sorry for shouting."
Stressy Sophie.
Stressy Soph was a very well-known...
It's with affection. I saw it as passion, and I love that.
Yeah. And I think, I've enjoyed all my jobs that I've done events and marketing in, but this one does hit a bit different because it is a small business. I have kind of just inserted myself into Dilwyn's family. My best friend is his daughter-in-law. I am passionate because I do think small businesses deserve the recognition. We're all going through tough times at the moment with the wage increase, the NI increase, the cost of living. But if you're passionate about something, you should want to make it work. And sometimes that isn't the case because people can't afford to come on. But we do deals where we try and make it a bit easier for people with the cost of living crisis. We do ask locals to come on. We do events like this where we want people to realise how much effort we put in. I mean, last night I didn't sleep because I was like, are we going to be able to fit everyone on? I need to get the photos on and make sure everyone's happy.
I gotta say, Soph was like, I've sat you next to the BBC. I was like, you've done what now? But I'm joking, of course, because I work with her.
In fairness, I met Emma at the boat lift, and she was so lovely. I wasn't going through. I say this. I wasn't going to go through the channels of inviting anyone from BBC Radio Shropshire. I wanted Emma to come.
Oh, that's lovely.
She's been so lovely, and she was so lovely on the day, and we've messaged since. And
yep, absolutely.
It's been great, and I have met such lovely people while working for the Sabrina, and I do think, and it's going to sound really cheesy, but it is a family. Like, some of my best friends work here, so.
I mean, I'm lucky enough to know Dilwyn from the Sabrina, and our kids go to the same school with friends. Like, I know how nice he is, and Amanda as well. Amanda was like, I remember when Amanda first came on the podcast, and I thought about that interview for weeks. I'm not even joking. She's a warrior, that woman is.
She understands so much from other people's point of views as well. So when she was doing stuff with Shropshire Supports Refugees, she was thinking, well, if I put myself in anyone that's coming from Ukraine's shoes, how would I feel coming to a different country? Or the asylum seekers, what would I want, and how could I help that situation? So they're all really lovely people. They're a lovely family, which I get to be a part of. So. And I get paid for it at the same time.
So it is reward. You get a lot back from the customers and the people that use the Sabrina as well, though.
Definitely. If I can't even tell you how many private hires I get invited on, because I'm there from like the first inquiry. I'm sat there saying, okay, well, what about this? You've got a few people coming. I know you don't want a lot of food, so why don't we do welcome canapes? Why don't we do something simple like crisps, dips and nuts on the table? And I'm like, do you want a playlist but you haven't got a Spotify? Don't you worry, tell me a genre, I'll make it.
They need you there.
Yeah, but I love that.
Missing piece.
I love that sort of stuff. And then like everyone goes, "Are you in a car?" And I'm like, "I'm really sorry, I'm not working." But there is a lot of private hires that I end up coming to my own time, like after I finish work, just to make sure that they're getting off okay. Because I invest myself into it, and it sounds pretty sad, but I just want to make sure that the customers are leaving as happy as when I've met them, and the staff are really good. Me, Victoria, the boat manager, and Greg, the operations manager, we have a meeting once a week to talk about the bookings for the rest of the week and the bookings next week. And I always say, oh, by the way, it's such and such 30th. They're really lovely. If you wouldn't mind doing this, this and this. And they go, oh my God, they sound really nice. So they then sit there and then take that in. And on the night, they walk in and go, oh, hi, Christine. Like, Sophie's told me all about you. Let's make sure this is okay. So it doesn't just stop with me.
Personable.
Yeah, the staff carry it on.
That personal touch makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I always think if this was my birthday or my sister's birthday or like another family member's, I would want that person part. So I think I just think it's quite nice.
What I was hearing from Stan Sedman over there, the honourable Stan Sedman, was that Dilwyn's a nice guy. He's not a money grabber. He likes to welcome people in, and that's such a rare quality to hear. That it is about the people, not necessarily. I mean, you need to survive, of course, but it's more about the people.
100%. So we took on the guided walking tours last May, and that's just because the council decided to stop doing walking tours other than the specialised ones, so like the shuts and passages, the ghost walks and stuff like that. And Dilwyn didn't want the town to lose that, so Stan, I think it was Stan that told Dilwyn, and then Maggie got involved, who, as we all know, Maggie Love just loves. So then Maggie got involved, and Dorothy, Nicole got involved, and so we took that on last May, and we didn't know whether it was going to be profitable. We didn't know whether we'd break even. We didn't know if anyone would go on it, but we wanted to make sure there was still the option for locals in the town and for tourists coming to still see this beautiful town that we've all got. And it's been great. The guides are great. They always come in for their tours, and they end up coming 15 minutes early because we end up having a long chat. We've got a WhatsApp group that's pinging every day.
We love a group chat, don't we?
Yeah, I love a group WhatsApp. But yeah, like it's been an eye-opener for me as well, because even though I worked in Shrewsbury for such a long time when I was at the prison, so I left for a couple of years and then came back to Shrewsbury. My family all live here, and I live in Telford, but I know so much about this town now, and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
I love that. I really do love that about you. I mean, we've known each other for so long, and I can see how much it flows through you in a nice way, and we can't talk about the TikToks.
We can talk about the TikTok.
We can.
I was going to say we can't not talk about the TikTok. Oh. Sorry, that was me, my mumbling. How natural is that for you to show that much sort of passion on social media?
It's a lot more natural when I've got Victoria with me, because Victoria gets the vibe that I've got. and I didn't start doing it till Victoria started. There'll be a TikTok.
So she got you and was like, we're doing a TikTok, or did you get her? Or were you like, right, gather around everyone?
I was very much like, I want to do one, and she was included with it. But there's going to be a new one coming out soon with Dilwyn included again. So,
are you doing a talk now? What are you doing? Right, we've got to end. Dilwyn said we've got to end. He's doing something important apparently. Note, I have put Dilwyn's talk at the end of the episode so that we can carry on with the momentum of people saying really nice things about Sabrina and the people that work there. So let's carry on, shall we? Anything from me, Tony? I've got Dilwyn who's just done that amazing speech. It's not hard for you to talk about the thing that you love the most, this boat. I mean, I know you've got a family, but you know what I mean? You're passionate about this thing, aren't you?
I still love what I do, you know, and it's been 15 years, and all right, I don't work quite the crazy hours I did to start with, but it's nice, and I feel quite proud. And you know, when you've got a nice team, they do make it easy for you, and my job becomes quite easy, so I do enjoy it.
I've heard about you dropping prop shafts in the river.
I know.
Obviously, the boat lift is a big operation. There's keeping running. There's making sure the staff are happy. Keeping it on top of the customers as well. Like, it's a huge output from you, but it seems like you enjoy that kind of thing. I mean, it's part of life for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when you hear, like, for instance, Sophie, who runs my office, when she jumps up and speaks as positive she does, it makes it very easy. I've got a really good ops manager, makes that really easy, like a number 2. My boat manager, my skippers, they're all just good staff and they want to be here. So it makes it a lot easier and more enjoyable when you share experiences together and you deal with things that pop up.
One of the most common things that I used to hear from Sophie when I worked at the business was, Alex, stop talking. Alex, shut up. Alex is talking again. Alex. I mean, I've seen a difference in Sophie since she's come here.
Yeah.
She loves what she does.
Yeah.
And that's really, it's a credit to yourself, and the business that you run, because you're like you said, your staff are happy. You come in and they're happy. But as a journey, would you have it any different? Would you do anything different?
Or you can't look back and go, I wish I'd done that differently, etc. We grew it as fast as we could. It was all new to us. The first few years was, I think I just survived on adrenaline. I was there in the day. I was doing all the night dues. I didn't miss a single night do. So then you work until 1, 2, 3 in the morning, back in at 8, 9 o'clock. You look back and you go, plumbing out, I don't know how I did that. But it is just adrenaline, and actually it's quite exciting, Oh man, we've got a boat, and I
a restaurant as well as a boat.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's that amount of hospitality.
Yeah, but I do like hospitality, and I think even though we had no boat experience, that I found that we could pick up quite easily. Within a year, I was a skipper, so was my business partner at the time. The hospitality and looking after people is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think when you look at other boat companies, I'm not saying we've got an edge on them because of the hospitality experience, but they're boat people that try and do boat trips and don't necessarily think about the visitor experience or the attraction experience. But I think that's starting to change. But when I go on boat companies around the country, you've got to really look after people. They don't have to come on the boat. And it isn't just, I think, with our experience, it's not just about we're going on a boat. It's about everything, isn't it? It's about the drink service. It's about, hardly any of them do table service. I just think, who wouldn't want table service? When you put together a very basic, what we do in the daytime is very basic. We look after people. They have drinks, snacks. We tell them some stuff about the town in a real, hopefully slightly humorous and educational way. And then they get off and we make sure we look after them. At the night time, different bags, slightly, a bit more food involved, or entertainment, or DJs, and more drink involved. But it's a different thing, but you are still really looking after them, and all you got to do is look after people. It's not rocket science. I don't know how people get things wrong sometimes.
And you have Sorry, were you going to jump in?
I was just going to say, how would you sum up the years that you've had Sabrina? You've talked about the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
Summarise it in a short few sentences.
With the different jobs that I've done, it's the most enjoyable. It's the longest I've done a particular thing for, and I still very much enjoy it. So I think I really enjoy being an integral part of the town. I think that's really important. It was lovely what Stan said earlier, who, you know, Stan Sedman, I mean, he's a rock of Shrewsbury, isn't he? And he gives everything. He's through and through Shrewsbury.
I really don't think like history would be what it is in Shrewsbury without people like Stan. I think it would be forgotten.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And Maggie, of course. I mean, Maggie, I adore.
Maggie's sort of protege that's coming up through.
Yeah, sure.
But you know, so it's lovely. It's really nice to be such an integral part of Shrewsbury. It's lovely that we've got such really nice partners that we work really closely with. You know, so I think there's many different parts to what I do that I still love, and it's very varied.
Do you think your career as Sabrina, you know, skipper, owner, is enhanced by the collaboration that you have with people like Beth Heath and the town council, and like people like Stan and Maggie, and you know, you mentioned numerous business owners that you've worked with. Do you think your experience is enhanced by that?
Oh, definitely. You know, I love meeting people. I like meeting like-minded business people, and working with people like some of the restaurants, whether it's Beth or whether it's town council.
Darren over there. Yeah.
It was only last week that I was speaking to Helen Ball. I just said, look, there's some litter in the river. You know, how are we going to do this? I can grab bits, you do bits. You know, all that. You know, cooperation.
I remember you like lying in the river, and you're like, yeah, there's lots of stuff going on in here.
Yeah.
You're like, I remember you floating on.
I have been in the river many
People
times.
are waving at us on the boathouse over there. Another great landmark of Shrewsbury. I mean, this is the thing you get to see all the time. Do you get tired of views like this? Like,
I don't really ever. No, do you know what? I don't skipper as often as I used to. I tend to try and be a spare, if you like. So then, if anything happens, you can always jump in, can't you? But whenever I do a skipper shift or a night, it's easy, isn't it? Easy. What a stunning town. You just go round the town looking at all these landmarks. If you go to other rivers through town, it doesn't, you know, loop around the town like it does here. You know, when you go upstream, the sun setting behind the river, you know, and you get to see salmon jump. You know, it's not like a desk job, is it? So I don't get bored of it, definitely not.
One of the things I loved about what you were saying is about how many different things you've tried, and I like to talk about adaptation when it comes to, you know, you've got to adapt to survive in business. And there's lots of young business owners maybe listening to this thinking, oh my God, how can I adapt, how can I survive? What would you say to people that are starting out in business and looking at ways to survive in a constant change in business landscape?
Yeah, I think you do need to roll with it a little bit. I think it's important to have a bit of a plan. And if you can do a little bit of everything, it's a good way of making sure things are done properly. You know, so I can skipper. You know, I can do bits of engine work, not masses, but I can do a bit. I could do front of house. I can do the accounts. I can do booking. If you can do a little bit of everything, you're there for support, and you're there to make sure the quality is good enough.
I did mention that you were the worst pirate ever. Obviously, that's a Pirates of the Caribbean joke, but you cut a hole in your boat. I mean, how was that an experience?
Who doesn't like being a pirate? Oh, we've had, honestly, that pirate boat, we had such amazing parties on that pirate boat.
I'm so good I didn't get to go on it.
Yeah, we had DJs on there. That was a few complaints. But
Jack Sparrow bombing up and down.
You know, and it created such a wake. Oh, it's incredible. The rowers hated it. But, you know, we had sea shanties on there. I can't remember who they were. They were awesome. Singing sea shanties. And we went miles upstream. It was awesome. But kids used to love that pirate boat. But it's just one of those things that...
If you hadn't have rolled that dice, you wouldn't have ever experienced that. And that's why I like the gambles that you're taking, the risks you're taking.
Yeah, and some things work and some things don't. And we have had things that don't work. You know, the pirate boat, was good. It was novel. It was quirky. It was the wrong boat, though. You know, it wasn't consistent enough. It wasn't clean enough for what we were trying to do and the image we were trying to do. It probably stole a little bit of trade away from the picnic boat. You know, and you've got to make decisions where you go, oh man, I think we tried that. It needs to go. But I think it's about making a calculated decision on whether it's worth a punt. And if you don't take risks, calculated risks, you don't progress a lot.
Great. Love that.
You're doing great work. Well done.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for the continued support with the biscuit as well. We've worked together for years now, and I love coming to speak to you. I love coming to cover your events, and I love what you're doing for the town. I really do. I think you're an asset to this town. So well done.
Likewise, you keep going, boyo.
I'll take this off now. Thank you.
You talk, I'm going to the bar.
Oh, no way, Sid. As if I hit record and he's gone. Right, this is an ongoing thing on the biscuit now. I just can't get... Can you just say hello? Can we just get a hello? Say hello, Sid. Hello, Sid.
Yeah, I can get...
Say hello.
Hello, my name's Sid. I work for Shropshire Festivals.
I work for my wife. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. He's off to the bar. He said that and he's like, I need a drink.
I work for myself. I answer to my wife.
He works for his precious.
Darren, creator of Shrewsbury GinDifferent. I mean, this is the first time I spoke to you since, I think, the birth of Shrewsbury Gin. I think it is.
Yeah, 100%. That would be 2 years ago. Food festival. And sorry, I got a flower show on my mind because, you know, it's out there. Who doesn't have it on their mind, right?
The flower show's not happening, obviously. I mean, we're on the Sabrina today. I mean, a great. I was just talking with Dilwyn about collaboration, right? Because this is like an anchor for a lot of businesses and a lot of people.
100%. So I met Dilwyn maybe 6-7 years ago. We built a bond working on the Shrewsbury bid, which has done incredible things for the town. And we had an opportunity when I launched Shrewsbury Gin about 2 years ago to look at collaborations. And one of the big collaborations we looked at was I wanted to be on the Sabrina boat, because this is an incredible thing. It's been here for 50 years. It's like selling that story of, you know, the narrative and the history of the town, which is what it's all about, really. I mean,
I'm in your spot, aren't I?
No, stay there, Alex.
and we're on the boat right now because that's why it's so tight, and that's what happens, right? So
we're all close together. We're a close-knit community. It's a metaphor for life.
We're so close to like multi-national media. I don't know where that might be, but
the last time I saw Darren, he told me off. So I mean, like,
but you know, local radio becomes national radio becomes Donald Trump, and then that's a different conversation.
Oh, like every time I speak to this guy, Shrewsbury Gin.
Should we start again?
Definitely cutting that off. But no, Shrewsbury Gin.
Yes.
How well has it gone? I mean,
really, really well. It's incredibly better than I could have expected it to do. I mean, I always thought that Shrewsbury should have its own gin. I spent 6 years trying to convince other people to make it, and then I decided to do it myself.
You're a gin connoisseur. You were like the right person to do this.
And I've been able to do it because we distill with the amazing Cornerstone distillery. They're just heading out onto the Welshpool Road and doing what they do, but they've got incredible kit, and we're taking that whole kind of piece that's going on with it, and delivering really good quality products from incredible stills.
And what I love about what you're doing is that, what do people do? They sit around, they have a beer, they have a gin, and they talk. It's culture, you know. When you're offering something like Shrewsbury Gin to the community, you're offering a slice of culture, something that we can sit around. Come on, Bill. I mean, come on.
So that massive pause from me was not about the fact that I don't know about my business, but just that lots of people walk past us in a very narrow corridor.
We're a close-knit community.
We are the closest of knits right now. But no, I think I wanted to make Shrewsbury Gin happen here, and you've told the story before where we wanted to drop it into the town. The town deserves its own gin. I've had a gin bar for 6 years, and we'd asked loads of distilleries to make it, and we decided let's just do it ourselves. So I work with Henstones, who've got an incredible relationship with. I mean, literally, we opened before they did, and they turned up to me and said, hey, will you stock our gin? And I said, can I try it? And they're like, no, we haven't made it yet. You know, and that's that. And since then, we've always been friends. I love front, I love watching seafood, but it's a big part of the town, and I think it always needed its own kind of thing, and we've kind of got stuff, and it's grown exponentially. Like, you know, we've had 2 really, really good years. I mean, we launched it at the Shrewsbury Food Festival.
Yes, you did, in a big way as well. It was everywhere.
Absolutely,
it was like Bovril back there, back there.
And it caught me out about how good it was going to be. And since then, we've got 3 more gins, a classic. We've got a summer fruits. We've got an amazing plum. We've got our homage to Charles Darwin, which we only make a small amount of bottles a year. So our Beagle edition is literally a classic example of gin they had back in the day. So it's a barrel-aged Navy strength, so 57% aged in the barrel for 3 to 4 months, depending on how it needs to come out with, because we always make the best gin that we can with what we're going to do. We've called it the Beagle Edition. We've licensed a beautiful picture of the Beagle that Charles Darwin drew on his journey home.
Nice.
To sit on the front of it. And we only make 100. Well, last year we made 192 bottles. This year we made 193 bottles, because that's the years has been since the Beagle set sail.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
We launch it for people to buy on the 27th of December. The worst day to launch any product, because Charles Darwin decided he wanted to learn about the origin of the species, and that's the day that the Beagle set sail. Wow. And then we release it to the general public on his birthday.
On the hazy 27th of December, when everybody's like, oh, amazing. Christmas is over.
And we, last year when we launched it, we entered it into a couple of awards. So we dropped it into the Gin Guide Awards, which I don't know if you know much about the Gin Guide Awards, but they are completely like blind tested. There's 36 countries, 38 countries, about 1,000 gins roughly added into it, and we won Best Aged Gin.
Wow! Congratulations.
First go. But it was something I always envisioned.
We won it first go, ladies and gentlemen.
It is, but it was also like, it's something I envisioned, because when we opened GinDifferent, I went to New York, and that was like well fun. And we had this weird situation where we bought a house, we went on holiday to New York, and we launched the bar in about 9 days, and everything just fell at the same time. So things were booked in before, that kind of stuff. We went to New York, and I went to the New York Distillery, and it was randomly on the weekend of the Kentucky Derby. So like loads of crazy stuff. And we went in there, and I met Alan Katz, who's the distiller there, and he just had a little baby. It was like really cool, and we had like a real cool conversation about like what was going on. And behind their bar, they have an aged gin. So they have something called Perry's Top. So Admiral Perry was like the admiral for the American Army during the Confederation kind of that in the New York area, and he kind of took out the kind of thing. And you can get Perry's Top. But on the bar next to it, called the Shanty, they have a barrel, and they put Perry's Top into it. So they have aged Perry's Top. So they have this aged barrel gin, and I was very lucky to get like their version of a mint julep. Enjoy some time there when it was happening. We got invited to come and watch it, but we're in the middle of New York. That's really weird. But we had a nice time. And then we had one of the shots out of the barrel. And the moment I had that shot of the barrel, which is aged Perry's Top, which is a 57% aged in a barrel gin, that was the moment I was like, I want to make that gin. And that was 3 days before we opened the bar.
That was your holy grail.
Yeah.
And you got it.
Then I wanted to do it, and we did it, and then we wanted more.
Well, what we'll have to do is we'll have to arrange like I did say this to you. I messaged you. I was like, oh my god, let's have a gin off. Let's get you and 2 other gin producers that are local, and we'll sit and we'll drink gin and we'll talk about gin. I think it'll be amazing.
It's never going to be a gin off, because you know what's going to happen? We're all going to sit there and be like, this is great. It'll be a gin appreciation.
Yeah.
But if you want us to be angry about it, we can do it. But then we'll just be all friends by the end.
Well, I don't drink gin, so I'm the perfect person to come along and be like, oh.
Sorry, I've got to go now.
I've been to one of your.
I've been to one of your this interview.
Yay! Cheers! Right. Okay. Cool. Right, so I'm Alex, I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
My name's Edward Goddard, and I'm from Morris Leisure.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. We're today on the Sabrina on a very important day. Can I ask you, what are your thoughts on the Sabrina as an asset to the community?
Sabrina has been a big asset, particularly we have our caravan park up at Oxon, and it's one of the main attractions in the town for all our visitors.
So people come into this town, and this is one of the first things you can kind of like say, oh, there's the Sabrina, there's the prison, there's the great history in the town, you know. So.
Absolutely. I mean, people come to the town because it's a nice place, but they also want something to do, don't they? So we've always been very keen, and Dilwyn's worked very closely with us in promoting boat trips and things like that, and people love it, and they get a great aspect of the whole town as they go around the river, and get a good feel for the town and its beauty.
It really is really nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend an invitation, because I'd love to learn about the history of Morris, lubricants, leisure, and everything that you guys do. I'd love to sit down an hour, have some coffee or whatever, and have a discussion. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that'd be great. Come and see us.
Brilliant. Cheers. Thank you. So I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Chris, and I used to be one of the owners of the Sabrina.
We just heard the amazing story that Dilwyn told us about, your name being on the boat and how it became the Sabrina. What does it mean to you today to be here for this?
Oh, everything. I mean, it's just like coming home again. He's done a fantastic job.
I've seen the photos and the pictures. The boat used to look so different when you guys had it. What does it feel to see it the way it looks today?
I like it because it's modern.
Yeah.
Whereas before everything was wood and varnish, which I liked, but it's brighter and it's obviously easily more maintained. Yeah. No, it's lovely.
And as a thing that's so closely knit with the town, the river, and what this does for the river. It's really important to keep those things alive, right?
Oh God, yeah, definitely. I think it's important, and also I like the way that they're more like a family, and I think that's reflected in the way the boat operates.
Amazing. And what's it been like taking a step down memory? Because I know you and Sophie and Victoria have been working together to get photos together and delve back into history and memories. What's that been like for you as a process, getting those photos ready? And
I've had a few teary moments, but I sort of wish Tom had been around to see it, because he would have been proud.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time tonight? Did you enjoy it?
Very good.
And do you come back on the Sabrina often? I know you're down the other side of the country, but do you ever think about the place and think, oh, let's go on the Sabrina?
We've thought about it, haven't we? But we haven't actually been able. Now we know where she is.
Does it live up to expectations?
Oh yes, most definitely. Yeah, she's good.
Well, this is a moving landmark. It's a place that people, when they come on here, they feel emotion. Well, nostalgia is really important, and it's really amazing to see that somebody that represents the transformation of what this boat was, what it is now, to have you here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. One of our ex-skippers, he sent me a photo. He saw it on his travels, so I had an inkling what she looked like. But yeah, she's good.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for chatting to me today, and I hope you had a great evening.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
So, we talk about the Sabrina being like a family business. Like Sophie's talked about being welcome into family, but we have an actual member of the family here today, young Harvey. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. What's it like for you to have this part of your family, this amazing business, this boat that you can go on and see?
Well, it is quite good to have a really famous family. It's really good to have a dad who's the owner of a boat, and I just find it like I'm really lucky to have a dad who owns a Sabrina.
Yes, and this boat takes a lot of hard work, doesn't it, to run and keep going. What would you like to say to your dad about the hard work that he puts into making sure that this runs properly?
Well, the actual story of how this boat was founded back in 1975 and transported and to Chester and brought to Shrewsbury in the 1980s, and I just really think that it's a real accomplishment how much work he's actually done to this boat. So very good, Dad.
There's a tear in Dilwyn's eye there. I love that. Well done, well done. Do you reckon you're going to be the future skipper of the Sabrina?
Well, I actually might be the skipper of the boat in about 50 years' time, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna.
Yeah. Have you had to go driving the boat before? Have you ever done that?
Well, I've definitely sat in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
Ring a bell at the same time as driving the boat. You'll be happy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe have a bell on the top of the boat.
What would you do as, like, you know, your dad and Sophie, everybody here like to run events here, you talk about the open mic nights that we used to have. If you could run any event from this boat, what would you do? Is there anything that you'd like to put together? What do you think, maybe something that your dad hasn't thought of before?
Well, like, I would like to have an event here, which, I mean, if I do become a member, then I would really like to have an event here of everybody who's worked here, how good they have worked here.
Like a memorial, like not a memorial, that's for everyone that's dead. Like a, what did they call it? A celebration. Anniversary event. Yeah. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey Harvey, you really like bell ringing. Do you think we put a bell on the top? You could have a bell ringing trip.
Yeah, well, that would be a good idea.
All the bell ringers together. They do competitions in Shrewsbury this year.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that, the world's only bell ringing boat up and down the river. Yeah. I'm sure the locals would love it.
Yeah.
I'm sure the locals would really love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today. You've been very, very eloquent. Thank you so much for chatting to me today.
And thank you. It's very nice to be interviewed.
Well, cheers. Thank you. What an amazing event to be a part of. Thank you so much for inviting me along. It was such a privilege speaking to you guys. And I'm really sorry to have kept on to this audio for so long. But as I look at my calendar now, as I record, I did this event with Sabrina. I then did a 4-block night shift. And then I went to Milan for a few days. Then I came back, did some more work. I then recorded at Loop Fest for a whole weekend. Then went back to work to do another block of 4 night shifts. And now here we are. So I literally haven't had any time to be in the studio, and it kills me when I can't be in the studio because I love making stuff. So I've held on to these bits of audio for a while, but I'm so glad to finally share it with you. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something different with what I normally do with the podcasts. You mentioned that, after I spoke to Sophie, that Dilwyn did a great speech. Now I'm going to share that with you right now, and this is how we're going to end the podcast, and then I'll roll into the outro music. I wanted to share this great chat that Dilwyn had with everybody on the boat, but I wanted to keep on with the flow of the conversations I was having with people. So this is a really important bit of audio because it explains the history of the boat, the fondness of what is now the Sabrina boat and how that kind of evolved, but also I love this because of the daring decisions that Dilwyn's made with business, the good things, the bad things, the failures, the successes, and how things just change for him because he makes these gambles. And it's really, really important, I think, because I think it's quite inspiring to anybody that runs a business to know that you can make those mistakes and you can come up with those successes if you just keep trying, roll the dice. I'm going to leave you with Dilwyn. I'll catch you on the next one. The next one's going to be our coverage of Loop Fest. It was an amazing weekend, 2 whole days of interviews. It's going to be split up into part 1 and part 2 simply because it was 2 days of interviewing. This event at the Sabrina was 20 bits of audio. And that had to be sewn together into a nice little audible quilt for you to listen to. So you can imagine how big of a project, an editing project, Loopfest is. There are interviews waiting on the sides that I need to book in and get ready. But it's because I've taken on so many projects that I do with multiple interviews that it takes such a long time. And obviously, you've just heard at the beginning this bit of audio. My time is very limited at the moment. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to this. I'll leave you with Dilwyn, and I'll catch you guys at Loopfest. Yeah, cool. Peace out.
So it's lovely for you to all be here and share this with us. I'll give you a little bit of history about Sabrina. So this is all news to me as well, really. So prior to this winter, we were looking for a bit of a job, and we knew 50 years was this year. We thought, right, okay, so Sophie and Victoria mostly. That was their quest, find out about Sabrina. So they started ringing around and sort of going on contacts, etc. and previous owners. We didn't know a lot. I didn't know, for instance, it started its life where it did, and I certainly didn't know people like Lady Christine, which I'll tell you all about in a minute. She's our special guest. Okay, so it was built in 1975 in Bristol by a company called Hancock and Lane. So it's 28 tonnes in weight, or 28.5 tonnes. It's 18.3 metres long, and it's 3.6 metres wide, or that's its beam. So it started as a restaurant on the River Avon in Bristol, and it was named the Avon Queen. So unfortunately it sank.
Can you tell them there's no?
There was a land drain that was cracked apparently. It sank. Poor old River Avon Queen. But that was until 1983 when Tom and Christine Anders took it to the River Thames. So that was to run in various parts of the Thames really, and quite coincidentally I was actually living in Hampton Court while it was down there, just never went on it. So in various places, Walton, Hampton Court, Sunbury, that sort of area. When she arrived on the Thames, she was renamed Lady Christine. Now Chris is here tonight. Can you give us a wave? There she is, look! Imagine having a boat named after you. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming all the way up from London. It's been brilliant that you've come here. And you've been so helpful with photos, information, and giving us all sorts of leads. Well, giving the ladies in the office all sorts of leads. So it's been brilliant. I think if you weren't cooperative, some of the information...
I wouldn't happen.
No, I think you're pretty much right, to be honest. So, thank you very much. Now, so it was there for a little while, probably 26, 27 years, and then bought by a company called Chester Boat in 2004. Ran a passenger boat there on the River Dee. So Brian Clark of Chester Boat. Chester Boat also had 5 boats in York. They run a massive operation all over the UK with their commercial boats, stuff that they do. Real big company. Anyway, Brian was contacted and approached by Shropshire Council and just said we could do with a boat to take over a boat that was already here called the River King. And the River King disappeared. It was only here 3 years. And anyway, so went to Chester initially in 2004, and then in 2007, that's when Lady Christine came to Shrewsbury. So it was like a competition in the paper type thing. Let's see what we're going to name the boat. Lady Christine, I'm sorry. That's when you lost your name. Not literally. But the boat then became Sabrina.
That's yours, is it?
Now, if you don't know anything about Sabrina, it's a Roman name for the River Severn, nymph for the river. There's lots of stories, and Sabrina's a very, very good name for the boat, to be honest.
Perfect.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Round of applause for Sabrina.
Yeah, and it's interesting, when we took over Sabrina, you sort of think, oh, do we need to rebrand it? You know, but I love Sabrina so much, and it's such a big part of the river, we sort of run with it, to be honest. Yeah, so in 2010, I was working with a previous business partner. He couldn't make it today, which is a shame really, but his name was Andy Flavelle. We saw a boat for sale, which popped up on an email. And we thought, God, a boat in Shrewsbury. You've seen a boat in Shrewsbury? It's a bit like that. We just thought, Victoria Quay, I've not seen that. So within an hour, we went down and we said, look, there is a blooming boat there. That's brilliant. What do you think? So then we rung Chester Boat later that afternoon. We said, we'd like to come and see you. We went up the following day. Went to see Brian at Chester Boats. Stepped outside for a minute and we just said, could be quite fun to be honest, should we buy a boat? So we went back in, asking price, and came back with a boat. It was quite bizarre when I spoke to my parents that night. Just said, what sort of day you had? I went, yeah, good. Bought a boat. It's 60 foot long, and that's what we're going to do. So anyway, it was It was actually, I thought the boat looked better when it was actually down with you guys in the 1980s, 90s. They took the roof off, you know, and it was a different looking boat really, and as we know, if we didn't have the roof in this country it'd be a different story, and we didn't have that to start with. But anyway, we had no boat experience whatsoever, but we just thought floating hospitality can't be that hard. We can do this, can't we? And I think it was, I'm not saying it as sort of back of a fag packet type thing, but we got hospitality experience, good with customers, good with sales, tourism industry, and we thought, right, we'll just get the skippers in, and you know, how hard can it be? And it was quite hard. To start with, it was. We use skippers that are currently from Chester, and I have to say, again, shame that Brian couldn't make it today, but Brian and his team, Brian was fantastic. You know, we'd ring him up and go, right, this is not working. You know, what do we do here? Or this engine isn't working. Right, okay, I'll send some lads down. Incredibly supportive as a handover. Can't praise him enough, actually. So anyway, so we came down. We thought, right, what we got to do here? It's got to be consistent. So previously, it was run weekends. It was run school holidays, and you know, if there weren't more than 6 people, they'd say, "Oh, can you come on the next trip?" It was a little bit inconsistent, if you like. So anyway, we thought, right, we'll run every day, 6 trips every day, and then we'll ramp up on the theme nights, ramp up on the private hires, and groups was another part of what we were trying to do. So from a timeline point of view, like I say, we bought it in 2010. We added a roof pretty much immediately, because the first couple of private hires, you've got everyone up here and it starts raining. And everyone go downstairs. And downstairs is a blank canvas now. You know, we took there was lots of seating, coves, if you like, of seating. And 60 people go down there, and you just couldn't move down there. So one of the first things we did was put a roof on it. We started refurbishing it and rebranding the boat. It didn't last long with my business partner. We didn't fall out, but partnerships are very difficult. I wanted to work around the clock and get the thing up and running. He didn't. But anyway, so that was a big thing for me. So they're all, you know, and the great thing about business partners is you can bounce ideas off each other, and he was brilliant at that. So all of a sudden, you know, I haven't got that person. 2012, we added to our fleet with a little picnic boat, 12-seater.
Which is great.
Yes. Now, that was an interesting one, actually. Initially, the Port Hill Bridge closed for refurbishment. 3 months, it cost £565,000. Council project. Not town council. Sorry, Helen. You do agree with me, it was a lot of money. But anyway, they refurbished it. So they shut the bridge. So Boathouse and the council spoke to me and said, look, we really need an avenue to get across the bridge here for the quarry. So I went, right, no problem at all. I went all the way down to Cornwall, bought this boat called a Rib Cat. Beautiful yellow and white thing. I thought, oh, this is just the job, isn't it? So I towed it all the way back up, and it was busy initially, and we snapped the boat after 10 days. So that was a waste of £10,000. Anyway, we managed to, we sort of got by for a few weeks with little speedboats and stuff like that. It wasn't ideal, but then we found a picnic boat. So that's where the picnic boat came from. There's a number of things here. Edward's here as well, Shrewsbury Tourism Association. So that was one of the things I wanted to do, was get involved with all the tourism organisations. So initially Shrewsbury Tourism Association and the Business Improvement District came a year or 2 after that. Still with Shrewsbury Tourism Association, did town map and the brochure and some of the trade shows. The bid as a director, I stayed for about 10 years, so I did my bit there, I thought. So we're just spinning it around at the moment. So just to tell you roughly, if you've completely lost your bearings, by the way, we are upstream now. If you look across there, you'll see the mount. If you look over the skipper out there, that's the top of the mount. We can go further. Depends what the time scale is. It's quite twisty and windy. The river levels are probably just marginally too low for that at the moment, believe it or not. And then you would get to Shelton Moor Towers and Berwick, and that's as far as we can go. But it's certainly another hour up that direction that we can go. Anyway, so 2015 we started putting some more money back into it. Big boat refurb, the lounge. We moved the bulkhead, the toilets, the bar. We did quite a lot of work there. 2017 was a big one for us as well. We were renting a little place at the what's it called, Mark? Station Approach, wasn't it? Station Approach by the train station. That's where Mark. That's where Mark worked for me. So Mark worked for me for 6.5 years. He was a rock until he left. Anyway, so we bought an old charity shop on Rouse Hill, and I must have looked at it a number of times, and I just thought, no, I'm not buying that. Anyway, decided to buy it. It's really run down. We made it to a really good office. That's also where our commercial kitchen is, and then we've got some accommodation upstairs. So that was a big thing, that was for us. 2018, 2019 I think it was, God knows why, I bought 2 pirate boats. I know it wasn't, yeah, it was a liability. There it is. Everyone loves dressing up as a pirate. Yeah. It was very, very popular. It's just the engine was really old. We had a lot of pollution issues with it. It wasn't a good boat. It wasn't. So we had it for a few years, and then I got a nice offer on it in COVID sometime. And I thought, you know what, off to Southampton. So that's one of them. The other one I cut a hole in the side of, and I've got it as a lock store at home.
Worst pirate ever.
Yeah. So a little bit later from that, we went through a lot of second-hand engines. So every year after the first year, we thought 2 engines, run a year, take an engine out, put a new one in, refurbish that one. Anyway, it was quite a good plan, but they were old engines. Anyway, when it got to about 2019, I think it was, we finally bit the bullet and bought a brand new engine, and it was probably 40% more efficient on fuel. It's reliable. I thought that's a good thing. So anyway, so we did that. We obviously had the 2020-21 situation that everyone had. We all enjoyed that moment. Tough old time that, wasn't it?
I really enjoyed it.
Some people enjoyed it. It was very sunny, wasn't it? Trying to deal with all the cancellations and the refs thinking, no, it wasn't enjoyable. Can't believe we went through that. Anyway, in 2024, which is the next little landmark, I got approached by a lady called Maggie. Here she is, look.
Haven't we all?
That's a lot.
Right, you guys want a moment? So anyway, 2024, Maggie said, right, the council are going to stop doing all the guided walks around the town. What do you think? And we thought, we can't have that, can we? So we started chatting, and it wasn't long. I would say a month, maybe. We had to pull together our merchandise and website, and anyway, so we're almost a year on now, aren't we?
Fantastic.
I think year 1 was quite successful.
Yeah, it was.
Well done. Thank you, Maggie. And we still have historic tours of the town.
Daily.
daily tours.
At £2.50 from the Clive of India statue.
There you go. Thank you.
Pre-booking is required. However, you can book via the website or on the office.
Hey. Awesome. Well done. She has got the pattern. Yeah, absolutely. It's, from my perspective,
What time?
the town is 1100 years old, and it seems a plus, that we know of. 901 AD founded. So when you've got that much history and the guided walks are disappearing, it did seem a bit wrong, really. But we've made it work, and we're into year 2, and let's see how we get on. I suppose the big thing for this year-ish, you'll see in a minute, we're going to go past the county show. We're going to start doing river taxis, so you'll see. You're laughing, it has been hard work, to be honest. The thing with Victoria Quay, we're very set up for flooding.
Star.
So we can cope with another 4 or 5 metres of water there, which is what Shrewsbury gets. So, it's way up over that bank, for instance. So there's quite a lot to cater for when you've got temporary pontoons. So we had a sharp lesson last October. We've just finished repairing them. So the county show is the first time we're going to start doing river taxis to and from Frankwell, back at Doctor's Field. We're also having a nice chat with Darwin's house. So we're looking to sort of open up that as a possibility as well.
Might need some guides.
Might need some guides, absolutely. So in terms of some of our memories, I got a lot of memories really. Some I can share with you, some I won't, and these I will. So I think one of the memories that I'll just never forget is we had a private hire on board called the Arthritic Society. Anyway, private hire, full boat, 60 people, and we're going upstream, and we went further than we went tonight. And anyway, we got the skipper from Chester, and the Chester skippers had a little competition going on who could go the furthest up the river. And I didn't know about this. Anyway, we're going up there, and it does get quite narrow, and we're up by Berwick somewhere. Anyway, he's tried to turn it in a space that the boat won't turn, and he's revving and all that. I'm running upstairs, what are you doing? And then his ego got, I can't be stuck here. Anyway, we burnt the engine out, and we're miles up there with the Arthritic Society on board. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. We're just like, right, I said, just entertain people, give them drinks, start singing. And the staff were awesome. Everyone was really entertained. It was a nightmare, and we hadn't got anything like the picnic boat then, which we used as a rescue boat, because it's a really good boat to get, even people with wheelchairs and arthritis on and off. But we didn't have that then. We had this little boat, and we had to evacuate the boat 6 or 7 at a time, all the way down to here. It was a 1-hour round trip. It was horrific, and we were still going at 2 in the morning, and these guys are singing, and there was some old people on there, and they'd all, oh, this leg doesn't work, I can't do that. Oh man. Anyway, we did all that. Stan, do you want to say a few words? No, I'm joking. Anyway, so
your memories.
We got everyone off, and I don't know what time in the morning it was. And at that stage, then we had to try and tow the boat back, and we got it back by about 5:30, 6 in the morning. Brian, like I say, from Chester, amazing. I can text him in the night. All right, come down. I'll send some lads down. They were fantastic, really, and we got the boat up and running by 12 that day. But the Arthritic Society loved it so much. They did. They put 4 consecutive years afterwards. Just, we've never had so much excitement. Do you promise to break down? But that's probably one of the memories that sticks with me, just because how hard work it was. But we've been through some journeys. I met my wife, Amanda. Yes. I've forgotten how long ago, 14 years perhaps. You don't know either, do you? So we used to do things like open mic nights, and they were so popular. On a Tuesday night, we'd have 130 or 40 people queuing past the Armoury. We used to queue the other way then. Really popular, and Amanda used to come on then, and but I always used to work the open mic nights because I loved the music, and anyway, that's what I remember. We've had lots of weddings, we had funerals and wakes, lots of proposals. I think the one interesting proposal that sort of sticks with me was an engagement ring that was in an ice cube, which almost got swallowed.
Be interesting waiting for that.
Yeah. We've done lots of school talks, about careers. That's been nice to be able to do that, and also river safety. We've done a number of years of trade shows, representing Shrewsbury. Helen has given us lots of Mayor's Awards. Thank you, Helen.
Well, the Mayor's.
That's a Town Council thing, which it's a really nice awards ceremony actually. Group Travel Awards and Tourism Awards, so that's been lovely to have. We're involved with the Commonwealth Baton Relay. That was quite cool actually.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. The one I really liked, does anyone remember the Charleston dance?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fabulous. So they had some dancers on here. Really good video. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube somewhere, isn't it? Was it a world record?
Yes.
Yes.
Guinness World Record.
There we go.
Certificate.
Guinness. I was Mr. Monopoly once. We got the Shrewsbury Monopoly board now. Yeah.
Available at the Sabrina office for £30.50.
Oh, there we go. Sales, here we go. £30.50. Yeah.
Cheaper than Amazon.
Ship off the odd block, isn't she? She's grand.
Shipping Wars. Did anyone watch Shipping Wars? Bizarre Channel 4 thing. And what they had to do was carry very, very bizarre objects from one place to another. Anyway, I had a friend that was that did ice sculptures, and the reason we were involved is they were making this sculpture for a party. It's all sort of staged a little bit, but down in Bristol they were making a sculpture for a party. It was a vodka ice luge, which was shaped.
There's your dog.
Yeah, shaped like Sabrina. This is where the Severn shuttle will be, just so you know. There you go. Well done, thank you, Maggie. Anyway, so the sculpture comes up and they're going, oh, we've got to be careful not to break it, etc. And when it arrives in Shrewsbury, I've got to look surprised on telly, going, oh, what's happening? And I think I said something like, they said, oh my God, it's broken. And I said something like, oh, you're kidding me. And then all my friends for about a year said, you're kidding me. It was, yeah. So anyway, Shipping Wars, that was... And I suppose we've had a bit of television action with regards to flooding and pollution. God knows how many times we've been on with that.
And Claire?
Well, we'll come on to Claire, she was lovely. BBC Midlands Today filmed the boat lift. That was not this time, the time before, wasn't it? That was quite cool. We're on Antiques Roadshow, 4 in a Bed. So we've had a bit of coverage. The really lovely one that we did that was televised and shown this year was the Claire Baldwin one. I don't know whether you saw it. Tales of the Riverbank. She was lovely. She came on the boat a couple of years ago with the film crew. We went around for about an hour and a half and filmed it. She was ace, wasn't she?
She was lovely, yeah.
And she comes across like that, doesn't? Oh, well, I think she does, doesn't it? But anyway, so here's some memories. So I'm not going to rabbit on for much longer. It's just a couple of little. Sorry, Bill, am I boring you? Excellent. You're next. So, obviously, a key part of what we try to do as a priority is work with the local community. So, partners, as many of you are, visitor information centres, attractions, Town Council, even Shropshire Council, restaurants, hotels, holiday parks, tourism business. It's very important, and what I like about Shrewsbury so much is we do all work together, you know, Beth's here at the moment, you know, we do stuff for the food festival, packages, etc. There's restaurants on here, so they'll come for a boat trip and then they'll go for something to eat. Say for instance, Libre Shoe, I was just speaking to you earlier. So those partnerships are really, really important, I think. We all pull together, and when visitors come to Shrewsbury, we squeeze as much out of them as possible and make sure that they go home going, isn't Shrewsbury awesome? So that's why we think that sort of reciprocal work is really, really important. So, and I think it was even, it might have been Stan actually that mentioned it, you know, Sabrina is almost like a landmark of Shrewsbury, which is a really nice compliment actually, and I've heard it a few times. I thought, oh, that's really, you know, being as we're not really a static venue, so hopefully we're an integral part of Shrewsbury as well.
You're a feature, darling.
And Nigel Baker, Shrewsbury archaeologist, thinks it's fantastic that we've got Sabrina alive and well.
Oh, there we go.
That's really special.
So anyway, we couldn't have done it without you guys. I just wanted to say a huge thank you. I do obviously have an amazing team.
You do.
So,
you could get off. They work hard and they're super dedicated, and they look after each other. They all work together. It's a real sort of family thing that they all sort of work together. And if you look at, not that it's all about things like reviews and stuff like that, but if you look on things like our Google reviews and TripAdvisor and see some of the cards, just had some chocolates yesterday, wasn't it, from a private hire at the weekend. You know, so it's nice when that happens. It makes me want to feel very motivated in what we do. So I'm still enjoying it, still very proud of what we do, I'm still very proud of the team. Oops. Okay, so last slip of paper. If you have a look on the tables, and especially if you go downstairs, there's all sorts of photos, articles, there's a scrapbook. Have a look through it. I think it's interesting. Beautifully put together by Victoria, and with the help of Sophie as well, who worked really hard digging out articles and history and photos over its 50 years. There's a little bit in the back. We've just said leave comments, so if you've got experiences with Sabrina, hopefully nice ones, by all means write something in there and you can be a little part of the Sabrina history. Like I say, thanks very much. Thanks for such an awesome team I've got to here. Thanks to my very supportive, brilliant wife, Amanda. Wave. Those first 3 or 4 years didn't see me much, and a very special thanks to Harvey.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well done,
who keeps me motivated and always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, and let's stand, Stacey.
So, in a minute, we will, James, the pianist, available for hire. I'm sure he's got cards. So he'll rev up again. Again, thanks very much. Hope you have a lovely evening. Here's to a really good 2025 season. Thank you once again. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to say something. You've undersold yourself. You're something special. Sabrina has done so much. For sure. Sorry, you've turned it off.
Just turn up a bit.
That's
on, I think.
You've done so much for Shrewsbury, and you yourself have invested a lot of it, and we're proud to have Sabrina on our river going round. And it will not be the same without the boat. Every time you look and see the boat going along, you know that it's people enjoying themselves, seen Shrewsbury from a different viewpoint, and from the bottom of my heart and from a lot of people, thank you very much for everything that you have done and are doing.
Thank you, Derwin. There you go.
That's it. Sophie, what's going on here?
Is it? Sophie, would you like to say something? I can just pass the microphone around. Let's start here, shall we?
Pretty skirt.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no. Okay, for those who don't know who I am, I'm Sophie. I do the marketing and reservations, and I'm basically Dylan's PA as well.
Yes.
So I just want to say a big thank you, especially to Victoria, Greg, Chris, Chloe, Robbie, Ewan, that have all worked this evening and helped me set up everything, and Douglas. We love Doug. As Alex knows, sometimes I'm a bit of a stressy Soph when it comes to events, but they've been really helpful. I want to say a big thank you to Jamie, who's done the canapes this evening, and then Will, who also helps throughout the season with the chefing, so thank you guys very much.
Good job,
I'd like to also say thank you to Darren for doing the GinDifferent welcome drinks. And welcome Naomi onto the boat as well, so thank you for coming. I also like to say thank you to Mark Hooper, who always promotes Sabrina because he used to work for us, so he has no choice. So thank you very much. A big thank you to Dan, who has taught me a lot when it comes to editing social media posts and making my job a lot easier, so thank you very much, Dan. I was about to say thank you to George, but George has now disappeared. But George helps us with our website. He's gone somewhere else. There he is. Thank you, George. And then I'd like to say a big thank you as well to Maggie, because she has lightened up my life. And if you know Maggie Love, she just loves. She does. So, and then, thank you, Maggie. And then I guess the biggest thank you to say to Dylan, and this is going to sound quite sad, but thank you for accepting me into the Sabrina family.
And you're not well. And you're not well.
Shockingly, Bill, I'm from Telford and he's accepting me. But thank you all for coming as well. I really appreciate it. It's taken a lot of effort from us all to set this all up. Thank you to Christine for sending us so much stuff, because as I said before, this night wouldn't have happened without you. Victoria's worked so hard, like we couldn't have done anything. So thank you all for coming. It is now bar service, I need to point out. Just in case you need another drink. But please take this opportunity to go down to mid deck and to lower deck and have a look at all the pictures that lovely Chris has sent us and all the stuff that we've got. Please sign Victoria's scrapbook. She's done a lot of this work in her own time, so please have a look through it. But yeah, here's to another 50 years of the Sabrina.
Let's do 5 out of 20.